Welcome back to my lovely HP community, the 5D Collective, and everyone who has been tuning in. So, let me recap. Getting past superficial wants and instant gratification to connect to deeper parts of yourself and others. That is how we do it. This is how we do it at the Self Empowered Land. Those who know how everything in the universe and everything is sound, sciences, spirituality come together. And we know, thank you, Judith, right? As we get past our superficial material wants and instant gratification, we connect to a deeper part of ourselves as well as to others and the universe. Okay, so why is that? Well, the narrative doesn't allow you to explore your emotions and to deepen your relationship with yourself. The 5D Collective doesn't use the ego's narrative because we have an integrated brain. And so we're using right and left together, which is why we don't do superficial or instant gratification. We're using mindfulness living and spirituality living and loving. And so while some people want it to happen and some wish it would happen, others make it happen. Thank you, Michael Jordan. The 5D Collective has the capacity to get past superficial wants, instant gratification, and the narrative of ego, and to live true love and passion. Why? Because the wild red mother eats ego for breakfast, and the passion of the embodied divine feminine is this. Okay, so I embody the divine feminine, and then I have my own divine masculine, and then I have my own divine masculines and masculines out there, and I call the masculine the left and the feminine the right. And so life's too short to spend it with insecurely attached people who choose to live relationships with push-pull, unfaced fear dynamics / shame, blame, fault, revenge dynamics, and unhealthy and fact dysregulated life and narrative. So evil stories, Lucifer, devil, that's all they keep on saying. Anytime you hear any of those people talk bad about health, mental health with a good therapist, we know they're in their shame stuff. They didn't want to go get their insecure, poor inner child gotten on board. They didn't unpause the distortion that took place with their ego. So the river of dreams, Billy Joel, in the middle of the night, right? I go walking in the middle of the night in my sleep, from the mountains of faith to the river so deep. I must be looking for something sacred I lost. Your first year of life is looking to be consistently contingent, communicated. I'm attachment trauma informed, and when that doesn't happen. So if you have ruptures and childhood wounds, you go heal them so you have a whole self, and then you'll also know why Hesketh Pearson, a man's character never changes radically from youth to old age. You will keep your 3-year-old, but your 3-year-old without the maladaptive patterns of behavior and the inner critic and the adaptive parts, so without your teenager who's a Cusco, is going to have a good time because you're going to get back to your innocence and you're going to have healthy others. And so you don't lose that innocence because you will have regained it with enough of good therapy and you walking a walk and talk because you said, yes, I want out of shame, fucking shame, drinking, shame, drugging, and push-pull, all of it, stromboli, bad relationships, okay? That's how a bad breakup can help you. Or if you just realize, I want to be a member of my herd, and you just stay up to date with the smart sciences and 5D mystics, of course, because we love to love. The ones who have a narrative, they're in the in-betweens. Their 3D, 4D frequency is push-pull, again, unfaced fears and shame. So they think that a man's character never changes radically from youth to old age means narcissist can't heal. And you'll hear sciences and non-sciences people say that. They don't know of Dr. Daniel Fox, Siegel, Basil van der Kolk, Janina Fisher, Stephen Porges. So they don't know that, yes, they can heal. Or of Patrick McNamara and how there's no brain that gets demonically possessed. So stupid people, ignorant, they continue to perpetuate lies like yoga bringing demons out of you. No, it's a portfolio of ventral vagal toning exercises. It's just people don't want to become their restorative embodiment self, so they don't want passion of the wild red mother. They'd rather do lust, shame, fucking, drinking, and all that other unhealthy stuff with low self-esteem and direct communication. And then you go find Diego's family. No Pacha, just Cusco, just Diego's family. Ursula, none of any of the, Pinocchio becoming a real boy. No, on that island with that fox and with Stromboli, that's what they do. And you see them out in the pubs. That's what they do. The people who don't go and get healed, they have insecure attachment for the rest of their life. So they're going to be in different soul ages and soul age groups. I'm in the enlightenment one, but they're also low frequency. So for them, they're going to continue searching for that something taken out of their soul, that something that they would have never lost, but that somebody stole. Yes, it's called your childhood, and people who tell you that the What is it? I will brutally dissect modern therapy and healing and tell you why the system is trying to keep you trapped, people. So that person didn't go and get back that which they didn't, the inner child didn't want to lose it, but hey. So again, what happens is that circumstances bring out characteristics which have not been obvious to the superficial observer. I do this thing, okay? So I finished the Hesketh Pearson quote. Let me read it to you all in one. A man's character never changes radically from youth to old age. What happens is that circumstances bring out characteristics which have not been obvious to the superficial observer. And again, 5D Collective, we choose to live life and build relationships with people who choose to love. So they don't do shame, fucking, drinking, or drugging. No, they build true, live relationships. So they don't do any shaming shit. No, they enjoy people from the heart. They know how to self-soothe in healthy ways. So they go for a walk in the evening and they don't get drunk off their ass and go fuck somebody and then do it all over again. They might go and say, hey, I want to talk to my friend today. Are you around? So they have the intimate stuff going on. Oh, and they don't do let's patch. You know how when are you lonesome tonight? People go and they, by being alone and lonely, do things that then they're like, oh no, I'm so sorry. You know, that's a whole other story. So let me keep reading here. So I know I'm searching for something so undefined that it can only be seen by the eyes of the blind. Yes. So Rumi's quote, you know, who doesn't truly love? The ones who say I love you with their eyes, they say goodbye. They know separation. The ones who love from heart and soul, we don't know separation, which is why we're the blind ones. So divine feminine here, your inner child and I will always connect first. And as a divine feminine, or even without, but as a whole human being with no shame, you don't have anything to poke at or latch onto because I'm an insecure. No, I'm a securely attached 1-year-old, 3-year-old. So even when my caregiver said, I'm going to spank you, I said, you can't, it's my body. That's a differentiated self. And that's why my eyes are blind. My ears can hear, but my body said, no, it's mine and you aren't allowed. And then when I was done getting my little spanking, I went to make my suitcase. That's what a differentiated self does. So thoughts and feelings. If my primary caregiver did that, and I'm a mammal like anybody else, my point is I have no fear of inadequacy and I didn't feel shame because she didn't frighten me. She didn't make me scared because her nervous system wasn't in sympathetic while I was getting a little spanking. That is what communicates our reverberation. I'm going to read to you all another quote. So, we choose true love as healthy, self-soothing, and regulating people and mystics, the 5D Collective. We choose the ventral vagal state of secure attachment, functional inner child adults that pursue and know healthy, self-soothing, and regulating practices. We don't do humbug people. So we do people that take accountability and they know that they can learn to regulate and they're authentic and they want to be in relationships with the passion of the wild red mother. They want their own inner world to be online the way that I'm talking to you about. We all have the feminine part. I am the embodiment of divine feminine because I know that. But you will know what you are if you're mystic. If you're not, then you won't give a shit really about these words. But you might say I'm a masculine, energetic imprint or feminine, depending on what you feel on that regard. I'm not sure about a life after this. God knows I've never been a spiritual man baptized by the fire. I wade into the river that runs to the promised land. This is always the Billy Joel song. And then as he says, in the middle of the night, I go walk in my sleep through the desert of truth to the river so deep. We all end in the ocean. We all start in the streams. We're all carried along by the river of dreams. And so when people don't connect back to their 1-year-old, like this avoidant attachment lady who decided she's not going to do mindfulness journaling or anything because she doesn't want to and she doesn't want to pay for therapy, and she says people are fucked up anyways. That is a choo-choo train that didn't make it over the hump. The kids don't get the gifts. They all get sad, and it's really sad because all she needs to do is continue, even if she didn't want to go to therapy, to do mindfulness and journaling, to get the core self, the narrative, relational, and solo self off of the narrative. I'm so, or then humans are fucked up, laundry. So those words make a difference, which is why anybody who is smart is going to say, I love to have the new therapy information. For some, it's easy. That's it. They just use it. For others, they go to therapy. They don't talk about it and wake up with suffering, with longing, with envy. If you wake up being envious of someone that's doing something and you want it, but you can't, it's called, you go and understand that you can take the time you want, will to heal, grieve. You're going to be in this fetal position for some time. Then you're going to get pissed. You're going to get to be pissed and not at a person who has empowerment. No, at what happened to you and your 3-year-old, and not project it at those who have confidence. Whenever I see somebody backing down because someone online told them they're too confident or intense, I'm like, really? Okay, so the anxious lady, you go get more therapy because you basically crumbling down because a woman or man, whoever, I don't know, I think it was a woman, but just being called intense. I got called that as a teenager, and then somebody told me, what was it, a year and a half ago, and I'm like, yeah. And then I asked somebody if that is something that they see reflected, and anytime you ask that, you always need to gauge who you're asking. But long story short, I wasn't asking because I don't want to appear who I am. I was trying to figure out if the person who was perceiving me correctly, and like I understood, no, they're the ones who have the lack of depth of relationship with their empowerment. They're not empowered. So a person who has confidence in their speech and in their mannerisms is going to have somebody feel intimidated. That's right. That I'm intimidating. I'm 4'9". I don't understand how I could look intimidating. And that's why I was asking. So, Sadhguru, every thought, every reverberation you create on the level of the mind changes the chemistry in your body. Smart people know that, which is why the words matter. So when you have sadness, you don't call it laundry. You say, I'm sad, and you allow yourself to feel the depths of it. For securely attached people, this is easy, mystics and not. It's for the insecurely attached. They need the therapy, and they don't want it. They like to walk around and run around with Elsa mantles, which is why they made up a bunch of stories like of the twin flame or of Reiki or of everything and anything. But those stories serve the people who don't want to move into their self-worth when the time comes that they stub their toe and they're gonna, you can't always be happy. Yes, you can actually, because the frequency of happy is when you are securely attached in your own body because you know how to self-soothe your nervous system. Doesn't mean it's comfortable. Whenever I am uncomfortable for my panic attacks, it's still uncomfortable, but it's not uncomfortable to the point of where I'm going to whine about it, think that my emotions are laundry, and crap on my body for being an embodied brain, or make up stories of devils and evils and energy vampires and somebody putting a curse on me and or mind warfare and all of these other things that the 4D collective is still lost in, because every time we have ascension energies, some new Peter Pan with a lost boy group comes up with some random title and they decide. So even for us, we have the 5D collective, but I'm the IHP community. We're here to be ourselves, inspiring human potential. So the 5D incorporates what I am as a mystic and as a frequency, and then for those who want to come on over, but we're here to be people. We choose to be with people who want to navigate life and relationships with an open heart and mind. And in fact, we choose to be with people who live and want to live a balanced, healthy inner and outer lifestyle. So they want to be reliable partners emotionally, mentally, and physically. We choose intelligent, mindful, and or spiritual people who live consciously, intimately, and build open heart-to-heart connections that last a lifetime. So we choose unconditional love, and we count the ways that we can love all of our loved ones as secure attachment functional adults. We are going to get to be ourselves, mindful, flawed, and with integrity. So healthy adult relationships and news stories that heal trauma. If you're new, we're going to stick around for a little bit longer, but I wanted to read to you the content that I got to channel through and then to continue with some stories. But we'll conclude first. What other people say about you doesn't matter, but you should not be ashamed of what you have done. Integrity. Okay, so being yourself means that you have a healed inner child. Having the mental and emotional mastery is not hard. It wasn't hard. My twin flames, they all supported me. The first one with emotional, then the second and third continued, and I got to expand the love button, and I got to continue expanding to be exactly who I wanted to be. When I fit back in my body, I'm like, ooh, I'm back to myself again. Here's where I'm a spiritual mystic, not sciences, but I can explain to you the sciences verbiage because I have it in my back pocket and I'm still learning it. And so that's where and why I like to highlight the 5D mystic thing, not because it's a set group or anything, or because I'm using books. That's for people who need an identity. I also have sage, which I really want to light up a little bit. So I'm going to do that. But see, I don't have any of this stuff because of being afraid of negative energy vampires. No, there are people that try to put, it's not even curses. I don't think those people knew what they were doing, is what I'm going to say. But I also need to say, I come with God and Jesus. So when I got clairs, I didn't think I was anointed. I knew that if I wanted to be that, quote unquote, that I would have to go to the institution. And I wasn't about to do that because that was egoic. It sounded immediately egoic, but also my download was, it's not anointed. I'm in my human makeup. And in fact, the scientists, neuroscientists, and the neurobiologists and the good mental health professionals, they all talk about the relational field, the quantum physicists, the consciousness field. So they explain something that I experience. And I experience what are also known as spiritual gifts from the same institution that what I know is some people will not welcome me. I'm a Reiki master. I do yoga. And some people think it brings demons out of you because they don't believe in sciences. Sciences doesn't disprove God, actually. Quite the contrary, I would say. It's just that some people don't like to think of God as dark matter and dark energy. It's kind of silly because they have a non-bilaterally integrated brain that simply doesn't want to accept, and that's their left mode, that A and B mean the same thing. My right mode works first because I'm a feminine. And that's because, again, I got lucky. Even if I didn't have God, I would still be here. But I don't have to venture off into that guess, do I? Because it doesn't matter. And plus, I'm 44. So, when people give you silly equations, it's kind of like, okay, look, you're asking me a question. I can tell you what you want, but I would say it's kind of unfair of you to, or not unfair. What I really mean is it's silly of you to ask me a question like that. But I'll humor you and I'll entertain it. And I'll gladly have an exchange. So one of these was a very beautiful person. We always get to enlighten each other a lot, and I love that. And they compliment me. They're masculine. I'm a feminine, so masculines always make me smarter because I can't see from their corner, and they can't see from my corner. And when we instead come together and we see from both, it's like you have it all. You have black and white and rainbow, and it's just the most amazing of thought and emotion, and then physical, and your mind is blown away by what you will have come up, from the depths of a feminine. Obviously, here's where the masculines, they are not as deep, although I believe that they will be able to start choosing depth if they desire to do so. Don't ask the conscious ones about the wine. Behold the glowing effect of it in the eyes of drunks. Now, I need to read this if I really want to channel it to you all. Okay, so let's not assume anything just yet. But if you have something that calls to you from that sentence, go for it in your own head. I'm going to just read a little bit of this, okay, in case you're curious. The Rumi book. Okay, so Alana Fairchild, Rumi Oracle. Bring me your unreasonableness, your insanity, your love without reason, and your passion. The passion that makes you crazy and shoos all logical restraint from your mind. Leave your ordered thoughts, sensible plans, and appropriate attire at my door. And I won't read that part because I don't like when it gives distorted potential messages. So I won't read all of this. What I want to read is this other one because he says, don't ask the conscious ones about the wine. So in the next step, we have the Sacred Soul Sister. If you recall, we read this one a couple days ago, which will be your higher self. Okay, so here, when you are conscious, he says, a cloud of sadness surrounds you. Okay, so when he says, don't ask the conscious ones about the wine, he's saying, don't ask the ones with shame, fucking, drinking, drugging. That's how I'm going to bring it to you. Because when you are conscious, a cloud of sadness surrounds you. It's like the Zen master with laundry. That means human suffering. That means you're not mindfully aware in a moment of time with mindfulness. So again, I teach, mentor, support, give you content that helps you to understand something I embody and that I'm learning and again offering as a one-to-one or masterclass. And people don't understand this because they're not pausing. This is not a competition. You pause, you understand the concept. If you want the fancy lady in a suit, she gives you a cop out like the Zen master does. If you want to be realistic, honest, whatever the word you want with yourself, I was going to say onesto in Italian. If you want to be honest with yourself, then you pause and you take a look and you understand that the way the smart scientist people explain how our self works and depths of you, it's where, let me go grab, where are you? Bessel van der Kolk. I'm going to grab him. He's one of my favorites. Well, I have a lot of favorites though. I'm polyamory, remember? And the solo poly, we have relationship anarchy. And it's non-hierarchical because you can't put a number on a person. They're all beautiful. Now, I won't go to that island. The smart conversation was, are you going to go on an island by yourself? You don't learn things by yourself. And I was agreeing, no, I don't want to be on an island by myself. And yeah, I don't know shit without all these people. I'm just a mouth. That's a vehicle. That's bringing information that I learned from others. And then obviously Maria's experience. So what I offer of unique is Maria. Everything else is ours. And then there's interpretation. Whose interpretation? Which is why when people want to bring in data, and yeah, pseudoscience, definitely, you know where the data is. I know one man who's working on it. It's the man who talks to you about yoga being a ventral vagal toning portfolio of exercises. So I know where the data is. Okay, so people who want data, they know where to get it. People want to just create commotion. Well, they don't when you meet smart people. And when you meet a passionate one, well, again, you won't meet when you start dampening your response to yourself, you also dampen the response to pleasure, sensuality, excitement, and connection. All the deep feelings at our core, Bessel van der Kolk. So when sadness surrounds you, you're in your temporal junction, not your prefrontal cortex. And so what he's saying, don't ask the conscious ones about the wine. In this case, Rumi, since he's talking in this other poem about conscious. And then he says, when you are beyond consciousness, the moon rests in your arms. So he's explaining to you, when you're beyond consciousness, and there's your prefrontal cortex, and there's your mindfulness pillar, the 3 pillars of the mind, with mindsight and mindset. I, from my mind, my divine masculine, with my masculine, my feminine, my divine feminine, open mind, open heart, open mind, body, alignment, 5D frequency. What am I doing with an integrated brain and restorative embodiment self? I am able to have the moon rest in my arms because with my prefrontal, I evaluate with the inner growth mindset here, but it can be a stream of consciousness that is yours, but it's not inner critic. I evaluate. Sadness came up. Oh, look, thoughts came up. Hey, narrative. Shh. Oh, okay. Let me get my ventral vagal. What am I going to do? I'm going to go hang out with my favorite people right now. Oh, no, I'm not going to go drink. I'll have a glass. I don't do drugs at all. But somebody does. I'm going to do a little smoke, but with my favorite people. You maintain balance. So he uses his words, see Rumi his way. He's saying beyond consciousness and conscious. I'm going to help translate. Conscious is when people are ruminating, like the Zen master with laundry and sadness. And that's why they don't feel better. And their biochemistry, and that's why with the Sadhguru, quote, when he talks, he doesn't know that he's offering you an opportunity to be an integrated brain and restorative embodiment self, but that's because he's a guru. He's not here for the mind, psyche stuff. Every thought, every reverberation you create on the level of the mind changes the chemistry in your body, and that is because we are all a lovely big sound. So when you meet a passionate divine feminine, a wild red mother, she eats ego for breakfast. And that's why we only know passion. And that's why if we ever know anything different, we'll recognize it. You heard the funny story, but divine feminines and divine masculines, we make a team when we're empowered. We will touch upon this topic again in the next days. It's a recurring theme. And welcome to anybody who's new. If you have any questions, let me know. Have a good one.